This is the story of how a man from Lugo, Italy, promised safe returns, filled rooms with hope, and in 1920 walked away with about $15 million, the kind of money that would be worth hundreds of millions today. It's also the story of how so many smart, normal people stopped asking basic questions because everything looked calm, official, and just clever enough. Picture the scene: a cramped Boston office with a shiny sign on the door, a well-dressed man with an easy smile, and a line of neighbors passing envelopes across a desk. No shouting, no drama, just confidence, paper stamped, numbers neat. A promise repeated so often it started to feel like truth. Your money is safe, and it grows fast. People brought savings, then brought friends. The room got louder, then strangely quieter, as doubt gave way to relief. When the first checks came back bigger, they didn't feel lucky, and they felt smart. And that's the hook. Big scams don't arrive as chaos, they arrive as order. A smooth line on a page, a clever explanation that sounds technical but friendly, a friend of a friend who swears it works. The pitch wasn't get rich quick, it was don't worry, safety with a bonus, calm with a profit. That combination is powerful. It lowers your guard and raises your expectations at the same time. From there, the story races, the office expands, the press prints flattering profiles. A small army of clerks answers phones and hands out statements with steady returns. When someone looks nervous, they're paid early, just to show good faith. When someone looks too eager, they hear about a waiting list and want in even more. Every detail is designed to feel reassuring. Tidy desks, quick receipts, polite smiles. Doesn't look like a crime, it looks like success. But the math behind the curtain, new money in, old money out. The market isn't funding those steady gains. People are. The applause gets louder right up until the questions do. And when the questions finally arrive, show me the receipts. Who holds the assets? Where are the confirmations? The calm breaks. Charles Ponzi was born in 1882 in Lugo, Italy. He grew up ambitious, restless, and a little reckless. His family wasn't wealthy, but he carried himself as if he was meant for something bigger. Friends described him as charming but impatient, always looking for shortcuts. Even as a boy, he had a gift for persuasion. He could make classmates laugh, talk his way out of trouble, and convince teachers that he had done work he hadn't. The charisma would become his most dangerous weapon. At just over 20, he decided small-town life was too small for him. So he packed up and set sail for America in 1903. Like so many immigrants, he arrived with hope but little money. He worked odd jobs, waiter, clerk, laborer. He kept telling people he was destined for more. That confidence, that smile made others believe it too. Even when he was broke, he acted like a man who was only one step away from fortune. He later moved to Canada, where he landed a job at a flashy bank. On the surface, it looked successful. Behind the scenes, it was already running shady practices. There, Ponzi saw firsthand how appearances can cover rot. He noticed how clients felt reassured just by marble floors and leather chairs. He learned two key lessons: people will believe what they want to believe, and official-looking paper, stamped, signatures, letterheads, convinces faster than any long explanation. He also discovered how easy it was to manipulate trust. A friendly nod, a confident handshake, a story told with conviction. But he also learned the downside. When the illusion breaks, it breaks fast. He was caught up in shady deals, ended up in jail, and carried those scars with him. By the time he returned to Boston, he had what you could call an unofficial master's degree in the psychology of trust. In 1919, Ponzi stumbled on the idea that would make him famous. Postal reply coupons, small slips of paper used internationally to prepay postage. He claimed he could buy them cheap in Europe and redeem them at higher value in the US, making a tidy profit. Technically, the math worked on a very small scale, but on a big scale, impossible. The logistics alone killed it. Still, here's the thing. It sounded clever. It sounded official. It sounded safe. And when something sounds both clever and safe, people lower their guard. Ponzi understood that he didn't need the plan to actually work. He just needed it to sound like it could. He launched the Securities Exchange Company in Boston. His pitch was simple and irresistible. Invest with me and I'll give you 50% profit in 45 days, or double your money in 90. Not a get-rich-quick scheme, he said. Just a reliable system. That phrasing mattered. People don't like to think they're greedy, but they love to think they're smart. Standing in line with their neighbors, everyone telling each other how smart they were, created an echo chamber of trust. Ponzi also understood image. He bought into a local bank to look legitimate. He dressed sharply, furnished a proper office, hired secretaries to answer phones. He projected stability. Investors walked in and thought, hey, this doesn't look like a scam. This looks like success. He even charmed the press, giving interviews with a smile and a touch of humor, so reporters wanted to believe him too. That was psychology at work. People trust confidence and appearances more than spreadsheets. He had another psychological trick. He gave people exactly what they wanted at the beginning. Early investors actually got paid, sometimes even ahead of schedule. He knew that once someone holds profit in their hands, their skepticism melts. They become walking advertisements for the scheme, telling friends, neighbors, and family. He weaponized word of mouth. And in a culture where community reputation mattered, that was powerful. Ponzi didn't just recruit investors. He turned them into recruiters. The truth? There was no grand arbitrage. It was money from new investors paying old investors. A financial merry-go-round. As long as money poured in, everyone clapped. The moment withdrawals got bigger than deposits, the music stopped. But by then, thousands were already hooked, and Ponzi knew how to deflect suspicion. When people asked hard questions, he played the role of the generous genius. He'd laugh, reassure them, maybe pay out a little extra to silence doubt. He understood that people don't want confrontation, they want comfort. He exploited that. If someone looked nervous, he didn't argue. He told them they were smart for trusting him, flattering their ego. That mix of charm and manipulation kept people quiet longer than logic should have allowed. The collapse came fast. Reporters began asking uncomfortable questions. Regulators, too. Where are the tickets? Where are the receipts? Can we talk to the custodians? The math didn't make sense. In the summer of 1920, the pressure mounted. By August, Ponzi was arrested. The empire fell in days. From there, it was courts, prison, and eventually deportation. He died broke in Brazil in 1949, far from the spotlight he once chased. The damage was real. Victims weren't just numbers in a headline. They were bakers saving for retirement, families planning a new home, neighborhood clubs that thought they had secured their future. They lost more than money. They lost their sense of security. And that's the cruelest part of any scam. It steals the future people thought they had. Why do smart people fall for schemes like this? Because hope makes us hurry. Because seeing others invest makes us trust. Because we want to feel clever, not greedy. Ponzi knew that. He didn't just sell a financial product, he sold belonging, confidence, and the illusion of control. He was an expert at reading faces, sensing hesitation, and adjusting his tone. If someone seemed doubtful, he told a story of another smart investor who hesitated and then made a fortune. If someone looked too eager, he acted cautious, as if letting them in was a favor. He made people feel chosen, and that feeling is addictive. And the red flags? They were there. Uniform returns that never dipped. Vague but convincing jargon. Paper statements instead of verifiable accounts. An auditor too small to challenge him. Subtle pressure. Act now or miss out. All of these, in hindsight, scream warning. But in the moment, people brush them aside. Because when someone makes you feel special, you don't want to break the spell. So how do you protect yourself? Keep it simple. Ask, who actually holds the money? Can I call the custodian directly? Who audits this and are they independent? Can I see actual confirmations, not just a summary? If the answers feel slippery, walk away. You don't need a finance degree to spot a lie. You need persistence and the courage to ask. Charles Ponzi didn't invent greed or gullibility. He just tapped into a basic human desire to believe in easy wins. That's why his name became the shorthand for every scam that followed. Different products, different decades, same psychology. A smooth story, a confident smile, and new money keeping old promises alive until someone asked for receipts. Born hungry for more, Ponzi came to America, discovered how much appearances and flattery mattered, built an empire of promises, and watched it crumble when the truth caught up. If you're ever offered an opportunity where everyone supposedly wins and nothing ever goes wrong, remember this. It isn't opportunity, it's theater. And you don't owe anyone applause.